Hey guys, hello world. I've had to record this video so many times, so sorry if I'm going a little quick for you guys, but it's just I'm tired of recording this over and over again. Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about training points, and I'm just making this video for new level players. If you're a veteran, you can still watch this video, but this is more centered towards low level players. Now, I'm going to talk about like what low levels do, what not to do, and what I recommend that you use training points for. So usually low levels, what they'll do is, I'm on my storm right now. Let's say I'm a storm. I just got Storm Shark. Ignore every other spell that I have here. I just got Storm Shark and I'm fighting another storm minion or a storm boss. And I use Storm Shark on that storm boss or minion and I resist. So I am struggling against the storm boss or minion and I decide, you know what, let me get myth spells, because myth spells, they boost on storm. So I'm gonna use training points to get myth spells just for I can start using, Cyclops instead of Storm Shark. That way I can boost on the minion or boss, and that way I don't have to like struggle as much with the minion or boss. And that's what usually what low levels player go for. They'll usually get their opposite school spells to fight whenever they're fighting same school matchups. And it's a really solid plan for the beginning of the game, but it falls very short and becomes impractical as you level up and get more spells. And this is because of two things. One, because of power pips, and two, because of converts. Now let's go over converts first for you guys that don't know how to converts work or you haven't got it. The way a convert works is you get this by just questing and leveling. It converts from your school to your opposite school. So if you're fighting another storm, let's say you're storm and you're fighting a storm boss, you can put a convert on the storm boss, and when you hit them, it's gonna convert it from storm to myth, and which is your opposite school. Now they can shield and a bunch of other stuff and ruin it, but just know that converts is what you use when you're fighting someone of the same school matchup until you get Shrike. Shrike is what I would use at high level. Now that's the first reason why I would not recommend using opposite school matchups, because again, you could just convert them and then you can change your school hit type to the opposite school hit type. That's the first reason why opposite school matchups aren't, like, getting training points in your opposite school isn't really that good at like later in the game. One, because of prism / converts, and two, because of power pips. Now, in the video, I kept saying Trenton instead of Triton. I don't know why. Please ignore it. I'm a little slow. But every time I say Trenton, I mean Triton. Now, let's say I'm fighting a boss, that same boss, and I have full power pip gauge. I always get power pips. So I have 3 power pips. Now, I can either Trenton for 3 power pips, aka 6 pips, which is a 6 pip spell. It does 795 through 875. Or if I have myth spells, I could Cyclops, which I'll put Cyclops on screen, but I know for a fact that Cyclops does a lot less damage than Trenton would. So it's just like, I don't know if you guys know how power pips work, but once you get a power pip, that power pip only counts for your school. It does not count for any other school, which means if you use a spell for another school, it's gonna take up your power pips and your pips, and it's not gonna count power pips as 2 pips. It's gonna count it as 1 pip. So now, normally like 7 pip spells where you only need 3 power pips in a pip, you would need 7 power pips or 7 regular pips to cast for other schools. That's where you can get like mastery amulets, but they're kind of difficult to get, or they're super expensive, yada yada yada. So I just recommend, if you invested training points into opposite school spells, just get free training point reset whenever it comes around, just because eventually it's not really worth it. It really is worth it for a while. Like for the beginning, it's like super worth it because you can boost and all this other stuff. But as you get convert, mass convert, and you get Shrike and all this other stuff that helps you against same school matchups, you really don't need opposite school spells. So again, as soon as you can, get a training point reset, and do not invest into your opposite school unless it's for a specific spell that you want. Now, I'm going to go on my life to show you like what I put my training points in and what I would recommend for you guys. So I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, guys. So what I would recommend for everyone to get eventually. So I would not recommend any fire spells off the top of my head. I would recommend some ice spells. I would not recommend storm spells. I would not recommend myth spells. I would not recommend life spells. I would recommend ice, death, and balance. Obviously, astro and shadow spells are also recommended. But now you may be wondering, why ice? Why death? Why balance? Now I'm going to show you. Now for ice spells, I'd recommend getting Tower Shield and Stun Block. Stun Block you can get from Diego. Tower Shield is just a very awesome spell. It's a shield that is universal to every school. So I'd recommend getting all the spells up until Tower Shield and getting Stun Block from Diego in Unicorn Way. Why death spells? Because Feint exists. Feint, if you guys don't know what Feint exists, if you guys didn't know Feint existed, now you know. It is like one of the best spells, if not the best spell in the game, just because you can finesse so many bosses by stacking different Feints, and you can do so much damage so easily with Feints. I highly recommend getting Feint to every wizard in Wizard 101. Next up, balance. Why should I get balance spells? Well, mainly because of Spirit Blade, Spirit Trap, or if you're Elemental School, Elemental Blade and Elemental Trap. It'll give you a lot more blade options. You can blade up a lot more if you get those two things, or if there's traps, you can trap a lot more if you got Spirit Traps or Elemental Traps. Alright, what astro spells do I recommend? I recommend getting Aegis and Indemnity. I don't have Indemnity because I don't use it, but I still recommend having it. I recommend getting Sharpened. I recommend getting Potent Trap. Only get Redactyl or whatever, Radical if you're a life wizard. For every wizard, I recommend getting all of these: Strong, Giant, Monstrous, Gargantuan, Colossal, and Epic, which is right here. Now, I really only recommend getting Keen Eyes, Accurate, Sniper, Unstoppable, and Extraordinary if you are a Storm, just because you're going to fizzle a lot otherwise. Or you're going to do PvP. If you're going to do PvP, you should get all of these and just use Extraordinary for PvP. And then only get your aura for your school. I have a healing aura because I'm a life wizard, and I have a damage aura for life. Now, I have universal auras in my treasure cards. I think they're really easy to get. I don't think they're that hard, so I would just recommend buying universal auras until you can, use a training point to get your school's aura. And lastly, we have shadow spells. I recommend getting Shrike for every school. Two of these spells I'm pretty sure are free, which is Dark Shepherd, I'm pretty sure that was given to me, and Shadow Trickster, I'm pretty sure that was also given to me. But Shadow Seraph, I have it for healing, because why not? Why not? Again, I'm a life wizard, so I use it for healing. But I really recommend Shrike for everyone, because you can pierce through so much shield, through so many shields and so much resist if you have Shrike. So these are all the spells that I would recommend for all schools. And lastly, if you are a Storm Wizard, you might want to get a Life Master, and you might want to, get some life spells just where you can heal yourself up. Or you could always just get a healing pet to heal you, which is what I would prefer over, getting a Life Mastery and getting life spells. I'd recommend just getting a healing pet, because that would just save you the trouble of getting a Life Mastery and, having to waste training points on life spells when you could just make a pet that heals you for you. So yeah, now I have a healing pet. If anyone wants to hatch with me, just let me know. And let me know on Discord, and I'll let you hatch with me. I have like several healing pets, so yeah. I forgot to mention this in the video, but you should also get specific spells for your school. There are trainers scattered around the spiral that give you spells that you actually, I think you have to use training points, I'm not sure, but they're for your school. For example, I'm pretty sure Life Spear for my life wizard, and Stay, which is like a pierce bubble for life. And there might like Mega Calm, or I don't know if you have to use training, this spells. I don't know if you have to use training points for your school spells, but those are spells that I recommend you get. But I think those don't have training points. I'm putting it in the video just in case you do have to use training points for them. I do recommend that you get those Pierce Blades and the Pierce Bubble and all things like that. Just don't get like Mega Calm if it is training point. It is not worth it. Do not get any of the Calm spells or any like the White Bird spells. So yeah, and that's the video. I hope this helped you guys. Hello World out.